Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Matthew Kroll doing my first YouTube video and experience here. Main reason I wanted to start this channel is kind of take you through my journey that I recently started back in the end of September of last year of 2021, and it really changed my life forever. I remember it very vividly, basically going through what I went through. So let me kind of start off with I'm doing much better now. I'm targeted to get things done in about mid-February, and I'll lead into that later on in the story. But to start off with, I started my kind of Monday or Tuesday, September 27th. I forget if it was a Monday or Tuesday, but needless to say, I started out, ran a lunch errand, came back to my apartment, and I started walking up the stairs. So I only got up about 3 treads of the stairs, so 1, 2, 3 steps. And I started backtracking because I forgot something in the car. So I kind of started walking backwards, and as soon as I hit the ground, I actually started tumbling backwards, and eventually I ended up falling completely on my back and did ding my head on the concrete. Not too hard, but also not so soft. Obviously, concrete's rock hard. So I decided to kind of sit up in place, and luckily I had a neighbor come by and saw the whole incident happen. So he came by and made sure I was all right, and he didn't feel safe letting me go back up to my apartment. I was kind of hazy, unsure of what was going on, and he just really did feel uncomfortable. So he did call the ambulance for me. Ambulance crew was gracious enough to go into my apartment, get my cell phone, get my wallet, get the essentials I needed for the hospital, and lock up my apartment, and then actually proceeded to put me in the ambulance and drive me over to the hospital. So I went over to the hospital and started getting my checkups. They ran a CT scan and then an MRI, and I wondered why they were doing the MRI, and they were doing a full body scan MRI. So they scanned my whole body with the MRI machine. So it took quite a long time. I pretty much sure I was falling asleep. I was getting really kind of confused. I was starting to kind of break down and really didn't know what was kind of going on at that point. So I vaguely remember one of the doctors coming in and mentioning the word cancer, and that I might have cancer. And obviously that's a big shock to the system. And being in the condition I was in, I was still very hazy and unaware kind of how things were progressing. I was getting confused. Most of my family members were very worried, unannounced to me, that no one was able to get a hold of me. So behind the scenes, I had friends, family, reaching out to each other, trying to figure out where I was, what I was doing, if I was all right, what was going on with me. So they did lob a call to my father. They had him as an emergency contact. So he and my mom proceeded to come up to the hospital to come see me immediately. So, and, the doc, I remember, again, hearing the word cancer, and that he'll probably reiterate it. And, unbeknownst to me, I had a very high calcium level, and unlike myself, I was unaware that it can cause hallucinations. So I started hallucinating. I managed to get a pick right here in my carotid artery area there, and I was kind of scratching at it, and they were afraid I was going to pull that thing out and bleed out. So they decided to restrain me. So not only was I hallucinating, not aware what was going on, but I also was restrained to the bedside. And if you've ever been restrained to the bedside, it is torture, because not only was I hallucinating every place I was being dropped off at, one for dialysis to bring my calcium levels down to a normal level, to thinking I was at a Jaguars game, to thinking I was in the middle of Orlando and in alleys, and just crazy kind of stories. At a friend's parents' house, listening to rock music all night, and all hours of the night, and not being attended to by a nurse, or no one coming to see how I was doing. And I was kind of trapped in this room, and I was hallucinating the whole time. And again, I was partially restrained because they were afraid I was going to take my pick out. So after about 3 rounds of dialysis, I was finally able to get to a normalized level. And really, parents were awesome. My mom even stayed most of the nights towards the tail end of my journey, at the tail end of September, beginning of October of 2021. So as I kind of finally came to and really fully understood the gravity of the situation, I was fully diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and that's a plasma cancer. So it attacks my blood cells, runs through my bones, and the MRI scan was kind of confirmation that it spread throughout my body, throughout my bone marrow and my blood. So I managed to do several rounds, about 3 rounds out of the 4 before transplants. Kind of warranted. They want to see where you are after four main rounds of chemotherapy treatment. I did a mixture of medication. So I had a chemo medication I would take 14 days on, 7 days off for 2 of those rounds. And then the final round was 21 days on, 7 days off. And then I also had a shot in my stomach twice a week for the first 2 rounds. And then the final round, they diminished that down to just 1 time a week for the shot in my stomach. And that was a chemo shot blend. They customized it based off of how my levels were doing. Had very little side effects. Didn't lose my hair. Didn't get very nauseated, except for maybe a few times just with a kind of a sour stomach feeling. Nothing of full-blown nausea. So I was very, very thankful that I didn't have those kind of symptoms that I was expecting. Maintained a very positive attitude throughout the whole experience here. I maintain that positivity. It really does help pull me through each and every day, knowing that I can do this and knowing that I can prevail and get to 0 levels and leave a healthier lifestyle, as well as kind of doing what I need to do each and every day. And that's number one, thanking God. That's pretty number one. Many a nights were being prayed upon for me. My friends, family of friends, friends of family, each and every one sending me good vibes and awesome prayers that came my way. And number 2, family support. I have a tremendous family with me and behind me throughout this journey, so I really do appreciate that. So which leads me into my next part of the journey, and where I'm going to be taking this. I'm going to take you through my whole recovery and my bone marrow transplant. So I have a bone marrow transplant scheduled. It's scheduled for my big day to get the big. Essentially, what they're going to do is kind of to load me up with some shots to gain additional stem cells. They're going to extract those healthy stem cells out of my blood. They will give me a big chemo kind of bomb, and that chemo bomb will destroy the rest of my cells in my immune system. So I'm going to start with a fresh immune system. Then they'll put in those healthy stem cells back into my blood, and which will attach it to the bone marrow and maintain that growth of healthy bone marrow, and help protect my bones against brittle bones and being breaking much easier, along with maintaining a medication regimen as well. Will help increase my healthy bones and maintain a healthy bone structure. So again, healthy cells extracted, big chemo bomb, and then healthy cells back in. They'll monitor me in the hospital for a total of 2 weeks after that. And then as long as I'm healthy and ready to go, they'll monitor me for an additional 2 weeks outside of the hospital. I'll go in for some additional tests, and then I'll be monitored from my regular team at a different hospital group because they do not have a transplant program for bone marrow. So I'll go back to my original team, my oncologist team that is currently kind of overseeing my health and my regimens. So that transplant is scheduled for February 21st. I'm going to be shaving my head ahead of time because I don't want it to come out in clumps, and that also said my doc says that it will destroy my beard, my healthy, nice looking beard. But I'll regrow it once I'm back healthy again. The crazy thing with this new immune system is that I'll have to get all new immunities or immunizations. So I have to have all my new shots, and each round is going to be 6 months after my original shot. So it's a decent journey. I'm gonna actually try to, depending on how I'm feeling for the day and kind of where I am in the hospital, and again, just really depends on how I feel that day. But I do want to take you on my journey from beginning to end. So from shaving my head, coming up in probably about a week and a half. I'm gonna go ahead and do that probably mid-January, so I can kind of get used to the bald head for a little while, and the non-beard. It will be different, very, very different here, as I've always had a very thick head of hair as I was growing older. It's thinned out a little bit, but no big deal. So I, again, will be doing that as a video as well, coming up shortly. But I did want to get this recorded pretty much tonight. I felt the need to get this rocking and rolling for the first time, and kind of really help motivate people to get yourselves checked out if you're not feeling, healthy. I, unfortunately, am lucky enough to be a little clumsy. Not all that clumsy, but, I did fall as I, managed to back off of 3 little steps, and I managed to fall, which did kind of save me from, number one, hurting. I started feeling, again, towards the September timeframe, I started feeling really sore and hurt up here around my chest area, and then in my lower back and in my kidneys. They were really starting to hurt. I thought I had a kidney infection. Went to the doctor. They ran a chest X-ray, and they did a urine test for my kidneys. Didn't see any abnormalities in the levels or no blood in the urine. So it was really, they didn't diagnose anything with kidneys, and then because they couldn't, there was nothing there to tell that something was wrong. And then the chest X-ray revealed nothing as well. So it's one of those things that if I didn't fall, didn't go to the hospital, didn't get the MRI, who knows how long I would have had this multiple myeloma. And I still don't even remember when the first time I started feeling ill, or just, weak. Didn't really want to, sleeping during the day on Friday, Saturdays and Sundays, and not really wanting to do much. And then just leading into just really hurting in those my lower back area, and then up near my armpit areas there. So again, if I didn't fall, who knows how long this would have continued for. But I'm thankful every day that I get an opportunity to, again, lead this channel into possibly motivation for someone to get out there and get checked, and making sure you're maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I myself have not maintained the healthiest of lifestyles. So I'm number one, guilty of not maintaining the healthiest of lifestyles. I really did start trying, and again, I was hurting more, which didn't really want me to. I didn't want to work out or exercise just because I was hurting so much. And so it really did, put a fire under me to get going. The journey so far has been easy. I know the journey ahead of me is going to be a lot harder. Especially with not being able to be around people that, those people I love, those people I cherish as friends. I'm going to be kind of restricted of who I can be around for several months, just because, again, my immune system is not going to be there to support, any sickness, and especially with everything that's going on with this, coronavirus, all the different variants coming out, and who knows what they want to do, people want to do, whether they want to stay home, whether you're immunized or vaccinated, unvaccinated. Some people get it, unvaccinated, vaccinated. It's so confusing. So I just have to maintain that distance from pretty much everybody. And for those of you that know me, I'm a people person. I love being around people. I love being around friends, family, friends of friends. And I just like hanging out with people that I enjoy hanging out with. And that's really going to be hard for me for the next couple months. So hopefully by posting these videos, the next video will be much shorter. I guarantee you that. And then the preceding videos will be also short updates as well. But I am going to try to post every single day. to keep me going, keep my mind off things. And so you can see how it is, from a bone marrow transplant perspective. Maybe it will encourage people to get a transplant if they're eligible and are able to recover, and or maybe not get a bone marrow transplant, depending on how I feel. Maybe it'll deter somebody, but that's not my ultimate goal. It's really just to kind of share my journey with you. So really thank you for taking a look at this video and this update. I wish you all well, and God bless. Thank you.